Okay, welcome to 2026. Video number 1. And I'm trying to decide how to set this up because I have a new thing where I'm a little bit nervous about exposing this, if you want to call it like that. Okay, so the lamp has to go up here. It's gonna hang there. And now I simply have to see. Because I want to record what I'm cooking, but I don't want the fumes. So this would be the best position, but then the fumes. Well, does it matter? Because this is supposed to be... Now I'm just going to continue, right? This is not going to be like, oh wow, 2026. I mean, you're going to get it if you follow me or want to follow me along the pathways of mind, if you want to call it that. You're going to get it at some point that I am constantly working to progress. So yeah, this is a real challenge for me as well, because I mean, I love filming, but I'd also just love to, live a life with real people, because there is the tendency to become at least a little bit egocentric when you're a content creator, of course. So I also, in a way, have to outmaneuver myself, most of all, because I'm my greatest threat. I'm my greatest enemy. I am the challenge to a certain degree that I must overcome. Okay, we're gonna cook pap. And I feel like I'm gonna make tea. This I used to make tea earlier, but I know now that I'm going to do the dishes after I have eaten, just to simply save on time. Because if I do dishes now, and then I rather eat now, and then I do the dishes, and then it's clean. I have bought some Kikkoman soy sauce. I just took the natural one because it didn't contain any sugar. Simply for taste, because I was getting sick of the food I'm eating. I have some meat and mushroom stuff from yesterday. I have some butter and pak choi. I like pak choi. Now this is a bit of a secret, because there's a part of the world where you have to ask permission, and I just outmaneuvered it. I'm cooking with gas now. Yeah. I mean, I don't have to whisper. But I'm still experimenting what this world is that I'm living in, Am I like a singularity? Right? Can I decide certain things? Do I have to ask for permission? Or can I just do whatever I want? I mean, this seems super trivial, but also necessary to simply test what reality actually is and who you are in terms of power. Because if you are a being of power, you probably need to learn to take responsibility, my friend. Otherwise, people will use you. Believe me, I have tried. Yeah, people will use you. And that is a fact. So, pap, right? I have to prepare myself for a yoga session, but it's not the yoga. I'm probably gonna gonna do yoga sessions with fasting. This is different. I'm gonna do yoga sessions with fasting and just tea. But for now, I'm still in this, I don't know, I use food to overcome my inner indiscrepancies, if you want to call it like that. I feel much more comfortable for now if I am in the, you know, not like directly in the camera. Okay. Okay, I feel like eating this now, which is why I'm gonna make like a fair amount. But I'm just gonna make the amount that I feel like I wanna make. Because this is still intuitive cooking. So it's 1 part the pot, I think, and 2 parts water. But you can also, it's not necessarily. I'm gonna use a different pot, by the way. Which I didn't want to do, but now I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, just keep yourself together. We're trying to cook here, yeah? Don't be overly concerned. I'm gonna at some point show you how to ferment vegetables. Okay, I'm just gonna put this to the side, just here. I'm gonna take this pot because it's bigger. And I'm gonna make pap in that. Or I'm gonna use an even different pot. I think that's it. Because this is actually my pot I use for making tea. What a waste of energy. But okay. So I can make a bit more, and then I have more for later. This is just as confusing as I remember it to be. I think this will never change. Okay, cooking is a focus exercise where you simply try to be in the moment. So I'm now also talking, as you can see, but technically, you know, you could do this without talking. Now, pak choi. I'm just gonna fry them. I'm not sure, am I gonna fry all? What am I gonna make? I think I'm gonna make, not sure what I'm gonna turn this into. Okay, now what is this? This is salt water. But I don't want to use this. So I don't know what to do with it. Because now there's salt in it. I actually wanted to use it to ferment something. But now I'm not going to do that. So now I've got this salt water and I don't know what to do with it. Because it's too salty, or? Yeah. Okay, now I'm completely stuck. This is an overload of information. I don't want to waste the water, but it's clearly too salty. Now the question is, should I just chuck it? Because it is my fault that I made too much salty water. Wow, this is confusing. What? You see, cooking can be quite a challenge with all the questions. So sometimes it's better to just start with something. Because of course cooking is also showing you what's happening in your life. If you cannot cook well, then maybe there's something keeping you occupied somewhere else in your mind or whatever. Okay, normally how I cook pak choi, but I'm gonna do this different. I'm just gonna slice it. Now I have to also see if you can see what I'm doing. Because I haven't cooked in this setup. So that too is a little bit frustrating now. Because I've changed the setup. And now I have to deal with all of these insecurities. Which maybe makes me wonder if I should simply put the camera somewhere else. Okay, now I'm just heating up water. You know that's okay. I think I'm gonna make a bit more pap. I can fry it tomorrow. Or just eat it cold. This is going to be a bit like a vegetable stew. So sometimes you just start, you don't actually know what you want to do. But cooking also always has to do with emotions. This is fresh garlic, which I'm going to add, just the whole thing. Because otherwise, it's just gonna dry out, and I want to use it fresh. With fresh garlic, you just peel the outer part, if at all. That probably depends on the state it is in. Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna try to simply reduce what I'm saying in these videos to food. Yeah, I'm not overly sensitive to the shapes I'm cutting this in. Sometimes I'm cutting it smaller, and sometimes I like it a bit more coarse. This is going to be a bit more coarse because I'm learning to switch now, by the way. I'm learning to switch so I can simply focus on what I'm doing and talk about that, so that I don't get drawn into all these highly spiritual things all the time. This is probably a practice you may call grounding, which is cooking. You know, cooking is a very grounding thing to do. So it's an investment to stay in the moment, which is what you actually want to be here for. I mean, you're living, right? You're alive. You want to live. You want to lead a life. What do you do with your time? Well, watching movies is always the same thing. You sit, you watch, you eat, and then you maybe talk about this. But how about, cooking meals? And then getting better at it. Because how much better can you get at watching movies? I mean, sure, you can increase the volume and stuff, but in terms of the actual experience, you can watch a movie and then have sex next to it, but that's just going to draw your attention away from your partner. So, it's like bringing a camera to the bedroom. It's just stupid. We want time with ourselves where we can actually just be here And that is what is actually why I don't like filming, is because it takes me away from just being by myself. But apparently there is something to teach here, which is being in the moment. And how to slice pak choi and to find your own way of cooking, to simply sometimes wait before you eat until you really know what you need, and then to simply eat it. You know, I want to keep my teeth, I'm just serious about this, and I want to see what my spirit needs and my body. So I simply experiment, which is why I have no problem to eat meat. I simply see it as something. So I don't want to demonize anything, but I want to do and understand, I want to know and understand what it does to me. Because what I want is to be active. I want to lead an active life, and I want to, I just want to be in a state of balance. I want to understand what balance is. I want to be balanced. And I find that actually I can do this different. This is not actually what I want. It's too... I want this like this. And then I can simply see and experiment if I can still change this. Or I can take this. You see, now you've got a much better view. You can still see the cooking happening. The light is nice. And you can... Okay, this has to go a bit up. So that should be enough. Okay. Okay, so now I know there's... Okay, I'm just a bit reluctant to give up. I'm not gonna overly salt this. Okay, what am I gonna do with this? I actually wanted to make... I have a lot of ginger. I actually wanted to pickle the ginger. So I'm just going to bring this to a boil, and then just as an experiment, I'm going to bring it to a boil because it's a bit older, and I've read somewhere that when you pickle things you can also put it into a different container. I'm not sure. I've never done this. But in the end what I want is just pickled ginger. So I'm gonna boil this a little. Yeah, because the pop is quite fast done. I'm just going to do this my way. But I often have the problem that I feel like there could be some kind of a benefit. from pickling ginger. And then you can pickle it. Wow, you see? Sometimes it's just better to actually do your own stuff. I mean, how hard is it to grow ginger? And once you know how to grow it, right, we can all benefit from that. But yeah, there's no use to get overly angry. This is not a super safe way. I just want to see if I do not sterilize this. Just gonna do it like this. Just to see what's going to happen. I just pretend that I'm no longer alone, right? That's what the camera does. It keeps me going and it stops me from moping. But I would much rather spend time with real human beings, you know, with my own family, with loved ones, whatever. But my life kind of singled me out as a lone warrior. Or I allowed it to happen and I simply chose to do this by myself. Which is why I teach people to cook, but I actually say to them, just cook. And that's all I probably need to say here. Because I'm cooking anyway. I'm filming it now. Okay, now the rest I will leave in there. I'm just assuming I have 2 parts. So this is pap. It's maize flour, corn flour. Yeah. Okay, now I still have the meat, which I'm gonna eat cold, I believe. Just next to this. This to me now I have soy sauce. Okay, this you need to make sure that it's under the surface. I have this already, but it's not gonna fit. Okay, this is gonna be a bit complicated. I'm gonna cover this. Because I need to put something on top, otherwise it's gonna... I have to smash it with a hammer again. I already did that. Okay. Well, this is just an underpot from from things that people use. Right? Just gonna do it like this, because I don't want to go around and buy stuff. And I'm just gonna leave it in there. And this is gonna cause the fermentation to start. But it's not normally that you put it with the hot water. I just did that now. And why? We're just going to do this. Because it's too much. If it ferments, I want it like this. And you just cover it and just leave it at room temperature and make sure that it gets enough because there's going to be bubbles and the bubbles come up. I now did not, normally you would put hot water in there before to sterilize it, but I didn't do that. Okay, this is soy sauce. Just the normal soy sauce, because I felt like there was a craving for it. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but I simply I felt like I need a different kind of a taste. And now I'm just going to experiment. Okay. Wow. This is now more than a cup of this water in there, but it doesn't matter because you can just cook it longer. Plus you learn from experience. And that means that you're simply going to see for yourself. This is so you don't get clumps. And then you focus on the stirring. You open your mind. Okay, so I'll probably add a bit more water. But yeah. So you focus on the day and what you know you need to do. And then you ask yourself what you want to eat. Okay, now I no longer need this one. Okay, you can also kind of like steam this. Wow, why is this so spicy? So I'm never gonna get completely rid of sugar. I'm gonna work with it as I feel the need. So if I have really like a tough time and I cannot push through, I mean, if you know how to work with sugar without getting sucked into it too much, you know. Okay, this is now, seems like, oh yeah, of course, because 2 glasses of water. I poured in 1, but it said on the package 2.5. But of course, the more water you put in, the more you can make soup with this probably. It's kind of like a porridge soup. Okay, now this is a bit shaky cooking, but it's supposed to be hard work. I mean, this is your training. This goes into the strength you're gonna have to do yoga, because yoga is a focus exercise. If we're talking about yoga in terms of asanas, and that's just what you need to know, because I'm not gonna talk a lot in these yoga videos. I'll try to stay silent, to simply focus, but I will probably give a bit of direction, because I simply feel my way into this. So this is a really emotional thing. But for me, I can transform my feelings into anything. I can transform it into movement. I can transform it into art and transform it into food. So the idea is to not judge the emotion. The idea is to let go of the emotion and simply dance the way you feel like dancing. To not be overcome by the emotion and then dance angrily, but to simply dance the way you feel like dancing. So you need to learn to live your life in the way you would like to live your life, without being overcome by the emotions and just seeing emotions as energy. Just stuff that happens, just feelings. You just let them go. And you transform yourself into whatever is necessary to live the way that you have seen yourself living as a happy, balanced human being. And that's why you need to get rid of the stuff that just steals your time without feeding your spirit. Okay, let's just see. You know how this sounds like? You know, Labyrinth, the swamp. Of course, it's about water. If you're a being of energy and you consist to a large degree on water, then you've probably been pollutifying. You were starting to turn into a swamp. That's what it means to pollutify. And that's what is happening to people who start sitting still, and when they get lazy and fat and they develop cancer, and that's pollutification in spiritual terms. So you have to know methods to work yourself out of this. Maybe you come from a background of psychedelics. Maybe you still intend to try some. Well, just make sure you do so consciously. For if you tear yourself apart or overuse yourself, because what psychedelics do is they release the energy you have stored up until now. So they actually steal your time. And if you waste your time on psychedelics, you'll also get addicted. I mean, I'm not saying it's a waste. It's only a waste if you fail to learn from it. So I feel like they helped me mostly in realizing that it's just another form of addiction, because you're the psychedelic. And that's just what you have to carry. You know, yourself as a psychedelic. I mean, that's why everybody wants to get you. You know, they want you to come to them. They want you to, you know, spend time in their creation. In that sense, nobody really gives a crap. I mean, this is probably not going to be real fermentation now, because I poured hot water on top. But I don't know, I just want to see, because I could have never used all of this ginger before it kept on rotting on the inside. This is mushrooms and meat that I prepared earlier. Now the question, yeah, I'm just gonna eat it. Nice. So I'm not a vegan. I'll probably try to be mostly vegetarian. But I'll see. So for the fermentation, you use salt water because it keeps the space a bit clean. And fermentation in itself is this is maybe more like pickled or something, I'm not sure. I've never done this. Or pickled is maybe more in I'm not sure. You just have to see for yourself. I am now just starting with these things, so I don't have a lot of information on what's going to happen to that ginger. I'm going to let it sit like this, maybe for 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe in the fridge. Hard to say. Or maybe it's going to work anyway. But the salt water keeps it from rotting. So maybe that's why we need a bit of salt. Okay, this is not clump free, which will put any, get any African woman to just say, I'm not gonna eat that. It's not well cooked. I mean, they know something. If they would cook this, they would do this until the clumps are out. Why, I cannot say. They'll know. I mean, just because they don't talk about it doesn't mean they don't know. This is hard work, man. This really goes into your everything. So that's why cooking is really, really hard. And now I just want to eat. This is always my problem. I'm just too greedy. At least now I am. Okay. Actually wanted to add butter. Yeah, it's not just for taste, it's for right. just feel like I'm rushing through a lot of parts in my life. Simply because I want to get to the good stuff. To the end somewhere, you know, like the old grandpa with the grandchildren. But for that you first need your wife to show up. And to get to that, you know, I've sacrificed many things like friendship. Because I know I just want, in a way, the good stuff. Not in terms of food and all of that. I just want quality. I want a high quality life. And for that I have to spend time living it. Right? So no more high fives. You know, I love pop. And when I eat, I like to eat. Okay, that's a simple meal. It's not strictly speaking ketogenic, but it'll surely give you energy. You know, you could go hiking with that. I'll probably do an art session with that. And later, I'm not sure about the yoga at the moment, because I haven't really gotten into this. I have been taking a break from filming. So yeah, 2025, I'm just going to continue. I mean, I don't have to really say anything. I don't want to push myself into a corner in terms of, you know, what this is going to be like. You know, I'm just going to give what I have, but I'm not going to, you know, go out of my way. And I've said that many times. I'm just going to do what I do. I felt like eating, so now I'm going to film it. And that's what you must do. You just must find what you want. I mean, I'm not saying you have to film this. I'm just saying, you know, I would cook for myself. You know, I have cooked a lot of stuff for myself. But now I feel like I've progressed enough and I can film again. So whether you eat meat or not, it's entirely up to you. To me, it's just energy. And I don't see why you should judge people who eat meat. It's just what you feel like doing. I simply want to know for myself. And maybe at some stage I'll say I'll stop now, because maybe there is some underlying cost for eating meat. Or maybe it's just whether you can accept your animal nature. I suppose that if you wanted to transcend and be super holy, you'd stop, but I'll rather live in the middle, and in the middle I can eat meat. Maybe that's the essence to life. To have whatever realizations you have and simply continue living and giving. And now I'm going to have a meal. And I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'll see. I'll probably do some art. And then see what else. I'm just trying to fill my life. And for that I have to do things. If I don't do them, it's just gonna be a desolation. Because the only woman, you know, the only person I'll really accept into this space would be my wife. And until she finds some courage and shows herself, or I have built enough energy or proven myself, I don't know how that works, you know, I'll just be alone. And then I'll eat myself through the drag, you know, of doing this by yourself. And then it can be nice, but it can also be, you know, liberating, and then it also can be kind of ridiculous that you're still here. Well, why am I still here? Why am I still doing this? And why do I have to be alone all the time? Well, maybe you're just being singled out as a teacher, or as the speaker, or as he who gets to push through. Cheerio. Maybe this is my last dance on earth, right? Or maybe I am always the way I am now, and maybe I only exist once. Whatever this is, I think it's time to show, what you're made of. And that's what some of us have decided. Instead of lazing away into AI and virtual reality, you just learn things and then show them to as many people as you can to be remembered. And that's then the path of the warrior, But there are warriors that might mainly do their stuff in the shadows. I just decided to step into the light. Okay, thank you for watching. This is an inspirational meal. I'll be cooking, there'll be one cooking session every week, at least for 2026, always at the same day. I'm not sure when this is released. I have just said I'll put a bit of structure into this, so I can just work off the same kind of things and then see where this gets me. And, if in the end I'll come out of it and I say, hey, I actually kind of liked it. At the moment, I'm trying to be less hooray-ish with recording such content because I have to preserve energy to also do other things like write books, prepare Instagram posts, make music and art. And then possibly at some point love, but you'll never see that. And that's a good sign, because when you add a camera to the bedroom, however amateur this may be, then something is lacking. And that's a bad sign. You're running away. You should face it head on and then just have children. Okay? Cheerio.